Well, hello, welcome to the channel, and if you follow along on my main channel, you might know me over there as Skybird. I wanted to chat for a handful of minutes because this is an introduction to a new project for me. This is another YouTube channel where I'm going to be focusing quite a bit on politics, my own politics in particular, of course, but I'd like to have some people on occasion. I'm lucky enough to come from a relatively big family, but a family that for the most part has very similar political views, so our Thanksgiving table isn't really a lot of name throwing and, banter about politics, but we do have disagreements on occasion. However, I've spent a lot of my life sort of focusing on politics in general and also, existing in the world because politics is a part of our daily lives, for better or worse. Now, from my own perspective, I see myself as someone on the left, hence the name of this channel, Bestest Leftist. I think that's what I did. I was going to do Leftist, Bestest, it doesn't matter. But I see myself as a progressive as well. So hopefully that lets you know a little bit about me. Also, if you are somebody who has followed the main channel, or if you're a member of my Discord server for that channel specifically, I've worked a long time to try and create a very safe and inclusive space for people from all walks of life, because I think that, having people with varied opinions really does make the world kind of go around. How boring, how vanilla would it be if everybody believed the same thing, looked the same way, had the same culture? Like, that's boring. We add flavor to this world by having nuance, by having nuanced discussions, but also having people of various different means from various backgrounds. And it is worth noting, too, that we are not the arbiters of everything that happens in our life. We do not control the circumstance to which we are born, how much money we have when we're growing up or don't have access to when we're growing up. Many of us are affected by our own personal lives, personal choices, our little alfalfa thing going on over here too as well. And so, yeah, I wanted to go ahead and chat about this kind of stuff because there's a lot to love in life. There are a lot of beautiful people out there as well, but politics can get pretty messy. And unfortunately, I think it can get to be overly complicated. So complicated, in fact, that it makes it feel like the layman just doesn't want to deal with it, wants to tune out. When in reality, politics is not terribly complicated. We make it complicated to chase nefarious means. Let's be honest. A lot of the reason that the country is in the position that it's in right now, speaking a little bit from my own perspective, is because there are certain people in power that just want more stuff, that are greedy, and they don't care who it hurts, who they have to trample in order to get what they want, continue receiving what they want. We currently have someone in who is not elected worth over $500 billion and yet is considering moving the treasury to the blockchain, which is full of a bunch of bad ideas, not to mention how much of the blockchain is scams. And I'm not going to get too much into it here, but maybe that's a topic for a future video coming soon. But long story short, it is worth noting that there's easy answers to a lot of difficult questions if we take a step back, get out of our own butts sometimes and just look at things from a nuanced perspective, not even necessarily our own. Removing ourselves can be one of the most important things we can do in order to consider a situation where it may not impact us or may even impact us. There are many laws that are passed, many things that go on day to day that have an effect on us, but we can still remove ourselves from so as to try and remove any biases we ultimately do have. That's not to say that all biases are bad. Again, I'm getting into the weeds a little bit here, but it is to say it's worth recognizing when you're making decisions based on your principled stances, which I can respect, versus based on just singular anecdotes and biases, because those have a time and place, and not all times and all places call for them. That said, I do want to go ahead and give a shout out, not that they need it, to some channels that I consume content from, because there are some absolutely wonderful creators who have been out there doing this stuff for much longer than I have, who have been contributing to this. And yes, I know my audio quality is not perfect here. OBS is kind of a mess, but I wanted to just say very quickly that one of my favorite go-to channels that I often find myself finding my way back to is The Majority Report, because of those principled, nuanced stances. It doesn't mean that I agree with everything that is said by every host on there, although I do find myself agreeing with them well over 90% of the time, and also more and more as I continue to grow and develop as a person. Do they need my shout out? No, absolutely not. They're doing hopefully well for themselves and continuing to keep a roof over all of their heads, because there are some phenomenal contributors over there. That said, there are also other creators as well, content for which I've consumed, like David Dole from The Rational National, I'm terrible with naming things on the spot, though. Mike Figuredo from The Humanist Report. You've got Kyle Kulinski. You've got Crystal Ball. You've got Francesca Fiorentini. You know, some wonderful people out there who have been continuing to push nuanced and remarkable content out there as well. So there's a lot to love in this space, you know, and there's a lot of nuance in it. We all have our own takes, but we all have our own flavors too, you know, our own character, our own stories, our own experiences that we bring to the table. And so long as you have the time and patience to listen from an empathetic point of view, from a standpoint where you're willing to walk in that person's shoes for just a moment to hear their story, we can all learn a lot from each other. I made a bit of a point yesterday while having a conversation with somebody where I talked about something that can apply to politics. It wasn't what we were talking about at the time, but this can apply. A lot of politics can feel very messy, like we're all down in the dirt. And I tend to view it as everybody sort of sitting sunken down in a hole. All we have all around us are walls of dirt. And that's not very pretty as a sight. It's interesting for a few moments, but there's a ladder on the way out. And if we all keep fighting, no one's climbing that ladder. No one's getting out of this hole we've dug for ourselves. But if we all try to take a moment to breathe in, to allow people to use that ladder one at a time, instead of grabbing the ankles and pulling it back down, saying that you don't deserve to leave if I can't leave, you don't deserve free college if I paid for my college, or you don't deserve to have your medical bills paid off if I had to pay my medical bills. That's not progress, right? However, if we let everybody climb that ladder, then everybody gets out of the hole. Maybe not today, but that's the direction we headed with that perspective. And that's what we need to do. We need to dig ourselves out of this hole, which I guess is an oxymoron. Point being, we can all make it if we try and steer this ship together. But if we all fight, we're going to just be lost, spinning around in circles. So that's going to be it, I think, for this one as an introduction that does a decent enough job to hopefully allow you to see myself. That said, though, of course, if you are somebody who enjoys Lego content, I do have a primary channel. You can go and join the 3,700 subscribers over there, or 3,800, whatever number it is. And thank you to any members who have come from there to here. It is also worth noting, too, that I have a Discord server specifically for that channel. But of course, if you guys like my takes over here, then I will create a separate server for more political discussion as well. No live streams planned currently, not at least until I can get some better internet speed to do that kind of stuff. But I'd love to do that, love to do interviews, and love to have friends on to chat about our perspectives as well. Again, if you are a Lego fan, the Discord server is open to members who are interested in that stuff, and I do welcome political chat over there as well, within reason, of course. But remember that it is an inclusive space. It is a safe space where you should treat everybody with the benefit of the doubt and make sure to make room for them. It costs you nothing but a little bit of time, and there's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, you can check me out over on Instagram. Also, again, the Lego stuff, but I will create an Instagram and other social media for this channel once it is off the ground running, I guess. And I hope that I'll be seeing you here again in the next episode. Take care. Stay warm. Do whatever. I'm going to end that now because that's cheesy. All right. Bye.